Hey YouTube friends, it's brother Rev Pipster here. Just doing a quick play about with my old digital camera as I'm not in a brilliant signal area. So we're using webcam. You know, I was watching the Wright Stuff earlier this week. I prefer to watch that than Jeremy Carr. It's more mentally stimulating. For various reasons. Anyway, they were talking about these war protesters who were in Luton greeting the Royal Anglican Regiment coming home and doing their victory, their return home parade, and these small number of Muslim protesters were there. And they were waving banners saying war criminals and the Anglicans are baby killers, all that sort of thing. And there was a debate about whether they should have been permitted to do this protest and what rights of free speech, and that would have been violated if they hadn't been allowed to do this protest. Well, you know, one of the things that the panel on the Wright Stuff didn't quite well, they didn't address at all actually, is to the Western world, the war in Iraq was, you know, war on terror. It was a political campaign. It was done to oust Saddam Hussein from power. It was done to topple the government and all these sort of things. But to the Arabs and to the Muslim world, no matter how much they hated Saddam, the thing that's really got them is the fact that the Westerners have come and done the deed for them, because they don't see it as a political war. They don't see it as them being on top of for political reasons. They see it as a Christian nation attacking an Islamic nation, and it doesn't matter what reason it could have been. Saddam Hussein, he could have been nuking his opponents. He could have been eating babies and buggering the boys of his opponents for all the other Arabs care. What really got them is the fact that it's people whom they see as Christians because they're Western. Not, you know, no matter what our governments might think, what our European and the US government might think, and the worldwide powers might think of it all. It's a religious war to them. People, non-Islamic armies have come into their land, and the main enemy of Islam has for centuries been Christianity. And the Christian nations, well, the people there identify as Christian nations, even though whether they are Christian, but Christian is highly debatable, and that is why the Muslims are so strong in their opposition to British Army and the US Army being out there fighting this campaign, and that's what the extremists on that side of the camp are really up in arms against. They see it as a jihad, and that is why they're involved in this in this protest, and that is why they can send their group of people out to a campaign like that, and to a victory march, and openly accuse those soldiers of being baby killers. There's no you know, there's no issue about it for them. If it had been another Arab country, there may not actually have been such a hoo-ha about it, and we certainly wouldn't have these extremists and these hardline people out there from the Islamic faith doing the things they've been doing. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't. They, you know, there might be a few high-profile people slagging off the British government for not supporting people of Iraq, if it was the Iranians or someone doing it, or the Egyptians, whatever. But because it's the British Army and the US Army in particular, as well as a few other European partners, Australians and the Ukrainians, etc., being involved, the Italians, that is what they're uptight about, and they don't see it any other way. As far as they're concerned, it's a crusade by Western forces, by Christian forces, going in there. They're not seeing political lines; they're seeing religious lines. It's their mentality. It's how they see it. It's how they see it from their point of view. That foreigners have, of no religion, have attacked their nation. They don't see them as a secular nation. They don't see them as political. It's religious, and that is a primary source and fuel for their anger and hatred.